Hey, welcome back to my channel. Next project is a little bit different. This is going to be a desktop computer build. This is the first time I've done this, so I'm going to do a lot of reading first with all the parts that I've purchased. And I figured I'd take you along with me on this adventure of my debut PC build. So let's take a look at the parts. Alright, so the heart of our machine is going to be an MSI PRO Z690-A motherboard running a Core i7 12700KF CPU. It's going to be cooled by a Noctua NH-L9x65 cooler. For RAM, I picked up 32 gig of DDR5 memory. And we're going to be running Windows 11 Home Edition on a 1 terabyte Samsung solid-state drive. And we will be seeing everything through the MSI Ventus XS GeForce GTX series graphics card. Not going to be doing any serious gaming on this here. It's mainly going to be used for video, photo, and some artistic stuff such as Fractal graphics and things like that. So there will be some graphic work, but not anywhere near like a 3D gaming or anything like that. And this will all be housed in this case by Fractal and powered by a Corsair RM850X power supply. Okay, so we've got our case here. Let's start with opening it up. A little baggy box in here. Ooh, zip ties and screws. Let's see. Ooh, chemical smell. There. Smells like polystyrene glue. So, all right, so we've got our cables. So this just goes to show how long it's been since I've done any PC work. I'm used to the power supplies being spiders with lots and lots of cables hanging off of them. So I guess the new thing now is, or what's newer than what I'm used to, is modular. So power supply just has headers on it now. Silent operation at low to moderate loads. Fan will not spin. Okay. So let's see. I guess I can take that off. And this is going to go in here. And use the screws that came with the power supply. There we go. Gotta find that happy middle where everybody's lined up. Snug those down. All right, now for the motherboard. Let's take a look. So I cheated a little bit. I already took some of the goodies out that were underneath it. These are for fastening the solid state drive, a couple of cables, quick install guide, and the front panel, or sorry, back panel. So, all right, let's see what we got here. I do have a static strap here. I'm gonna put that on so I don't zap anything. We are in the winter, so everything's dry. Okay. It's the nice thing about being an electrical engineer. I've got a static strap or static mat available to me. First thing we are going to have to do is install the CPU and the CPU cooler. Okay, so So this has a triangle on the corner, which has to line up with the triangle here. Pop that up. Okay. And then this is going to come down and pop that out. And then we have our manual. We are installing an Intel, so we need the Intel set of hardware. And this is also they have a screwdriver as well, special screwdriver. And then we have our little logo, and we have our thermal paste, and a low noise adapter, which I believe is probably just a resistor to slow the fan down. We need our paste. Okay. There's the back plate. Okay. So this does come with some pretty good illustrated instructions here. So we are doing the LGA 1700. So that's going to be position 2 for the LGA 1700, which is the outer triangle. So we're going to set up the back plate. This side must face the motherboard. Okay. So this faces the motherboard. The screws have to go in this way because these are going to go through the motherboard. And they're going into the outer, as it said, position number 2. And then these little holders trap them. So now we have to lift the motherboard up and insert this underneath. So we do this and just kind of hold screws while I put this down. And this is where having the static strap can be a little bit of a hassle. Okay. Install the spacers. These guys here. Position 2 for the 1700. Okay, so let's take the cooler out because I need to just double check which way I need those fins oriented. Got a nice little cover on there to protect the thermal transfer plate. Verifying that these are in the proper holes, in 2, and they're oriented this way because I want the cooler angle mounted sideways. As opposed to blowing up and down, I want it blowing side to side because I've got fans in the front of the machine that are going to be blowing the air this way. So I'm trying to encourage the airflow to go in one direction so we don't have a lot of turbulence. So the next thing is to secure these down. Okay, just snugging those down. Now that these are secure, we do our thermal grease. The instructions for the LGA 1700 call for a center 4mm dot and 4 2mm dots. Be sure to take this off beforehand. A little dust on there. And now we're going to gently place this Alternate side to side, turning the screws 1 to 2 turns at a time to evenly tighten the cooler against the surface of the CPU. This will spread the paste. Apologies here, I didn't realize that I was blocking the camera while tightening the screws. Maximum torque, 0.6 Newton meters. My metric isn't that good, so 0.6 Newton meters, about 5.3 inch-pounds. Little physics. 5 inch-pounds means that if I'm 1 inch away from the shaft, I need to apply 5 pounds of force to deliver 5 inch-pounds of torque. Just a guide there. Okay. This is now going to plug into the CPU fan connection. Pin 1 to pin 1. Okay. Alright, let's move on to installing the memory and the solid state drive. So first we're going to unscrew this guy here. Okay, so does have a little thermal pad on it. A little pad under there too. Okay. Amazing. 1 terabyte. Okay, this actually slides in a little bit. It's at a little bit of an angle, and then it's going to get pushed down by the tab here. And let me just do that, and that holds it down. Pull this off. Oops, missed the hole. Now, these things do not take a lot of torque. 2 fingers, just nudging them down. Okay, that'll help sink some of the heat from that hard drive when it's working. Hard drive, solid state drive. Dating myself here. All right, let's get the DRAMs in now. Okay, just a reminder, it is very important to keep yourself static free. Dealing with some pricey hardware here, and I do not want to damage it. Okay, so there's more contacts on this side than there are this side. That's how you know which way they go in. Now, installing these into the motherboard, there's 4 slots, A1, B1, A2, B2. The motherboard manual states that you want to go into A2 and B2 first. So if I was to do 4 DIMMs, I would put all 4 in, but if I'm only putting 2, it would be A2 and B2. So you just take these and just gentle pressure, rocking it back and forth. Until those fully trap it. Same thing here. Rock it in. I think I blocked it there. Whoops. So, and there you go. All right. Our computer is coming together here. So now is a good time to take care of getting these cables run. This is going to come down like this and plug into the motherboard. So it's an opportunity to get this stuff routed nice and neat. Running the cables will depend on the system you're building. In my case, I needed harnesses for the motherboard, a DVD drive, and additional hard drives. Routing cables is pretty boring, so I'll spare you the pain of watching me do it. So now we'll put the standoffs in. So these are going to go in to hold the motherboard. And this actually comes with a nifty little adapter. So you can use a standard Phillips screwdriver. Like anything else, not too tight. Just want them secure. This is not thick metal. You can tear the threads out pretty easily. Okay. I'll do that for the remaining 6 standoffs. Put the plate in. Gently lower the motherboard into position. Watch out, as the cables can sometimes block your way. It was this big monster cable right here. Okay. So this actually has a little locator peg there, and the rest, I can see the screw holes lining up. I'm checking each screw hole to ensure the motherboard's sitting flush on the standoffs. Okay, I'm holding the screw until I get it down in there. Not going to tighten it all the way. I want to get all the screws in there first. Yeah, I'll just snug them down. Again, very gently, not cranking them down. It's a total of 8 in this motherboard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, let's make some power supply connections now. Tab goes out. Just rock it in gently. Hear that click? It's in. This is the USB for the front. Same thing, rock it in. This is the power for the graphics card. I'm not putting that in yet. Connect the 2 separate CPU connectors on the top edge. All right, that's 1. And 2. Alrighty, so I had to flip this up to make it easier for you guys to see. So this is the audio connection, which that's gonna be a problem. Yeah, that doesn't reach. I don't think it's gonna do the clean route. Okay. I have the manual for the motherboard up. Notice there's a pin filled in that will match with the missing pin over here. Next, I'm going to connect the front panel LEDs and switches. All the signals are separated to allow flexibility of connection to different motherboards. Using the diagram from the manual, plug in each signal to the corresponding pins on the motherboard header. Okay, I'll connect the front panel USB. Alrighty, graphics card. Ooh, look at that. These gotten a little bigger since I last worked with them. And heavier. And we do have a cover on here, and it is dual slot. So I have to take 2 things out. Move the 2 slot covers. And then we're going to slide our card in. Get that card aligned in there. And rock it into place very gently until it snaps into place. And you can also see the card is flush there. Secure it with the 2 screws. This is easier to get in there with a screwdriver. It's a little too tight for my thumbs. Okay. Just double check it, make sure it's in there. And then we're going to connect up the power. So this is a kind of an interesting connector in that they kind of butt up against each other to make an 8-pin. Okay, there we go. And then this is going to tuck down. All right, here we go. Power on. We got fan cooler. I'll spare you the painful waiting. In short, after a couple of self-restarts, which I assume were the motherboard configuring itself to work with the installed hardware, the computer found the Windows 11 boot thumb drive, and installation commenced. Alrighty, so it's been a little bit of time, but Windows came up to this. You have to connect to a network. It was grayed out. It did not have a network. Plugged in an Ethernet cable. I got the yellow light, but no green. Long story short, did a little bit of research on it and found that if you go into Shift F10 and go into a command line, I was able to actually go onto my other computer, download the Motherboard Intel network drivers, put them on a thumb drive, plug that in, navigated to it, ran it, and did the install. As soon as it was in the process of installing, green light came on, drivers are now working, the network hardware is now working, and Windows is now happy, so back in business. Now we're making progress. Okay. And now I gotta start installing some drivers, make sure that everything is updated, because who knows when these pieces of hardware were packaged. Cue the Jeopardy theme again. Waiting for drivers. Alright, day 2. Windows is installed. Hardware seems to be working. I grabbed the old tower yesterday, which this is replacing, and the user wants to keep their DVD drive, so I pulled that out. That's going in, and the data hard drives are going in. So let's get the rest of that stuff in, and the cable's hooked up. All right, so this case has a removable slot here. I just have to pop these tabs out. It says to remove the whole front cover, but I can reach in there and just depress these tabs, so why make it harder than it has to be. So that comes out. Okay, we're gonna... Okay, we'll slide this in. Just gonna lock it in place with one of the screws. Okay. Okay, I want to run these fans. These have a pin 1 indicator, and they also have these ribs on the bottom. Okay, that's one. 2. All right, now I need a SATA cable. I'm going to use the straight one because I need the right angle for the hard drive. Try to go gentle with these here. These are very high-speed cables. They've got complex shielding in them. So you don't want to do any hard bends. So I'm just going to do some gentle 90-degree. And install the remaining thumb screws. All right, I've got 2 hard drives. Let's get these in. This, let's see. These pop out. Whoop. So these carriers have little pegs here, and those snap into the sides of the drives. Snap onto these. Looks like I'm going to want to pull that cable out. Let's repeat the process with the second hard drive. I'm going to tuck these under the drives. And let's see. So these have a socket that has a little downward groove that matches the tab on the drive. So I'm going to tuck this one underneath. This is not going to play nice with the case. That's kind of tucked, but not a huge fan of that, that's for sure. Okay, let's get that out of the way. Okay. All right, that is one little gripe I have on the layout of this case is easy to put the drives in, but not easy to wire them. All right, let's snug down some zip ties to secure these cables. Time to reinstall the rear cover and fasten the thumb screws. Just gonna tidy this one up. One more thing that was recommended to me is when you look at the layout of the airflow, we have two inlet fans here. They're going to be pushing air this way. The CPU cooler is going to be pushing air that way. This guy's going to be pushing air this way. This is going to be pulling air in and exhausting it. It was recommended to take this lower fan and move it to the upper rear, so that way there's a kind of a straight through passing of air through the machine. Remove the front bezel by gently depressing the tabs along the inside edges. Let's get this lower fan out. I had to remove the side panel again to free the fan cable and complete the removal. Note on these fans there's typically an indicator for airflow and blade rotation direction. The label containing the model number allows you to look up more specifications, such as airflow volume, should you want to replace or upgrade the fan. I had to steal the screws from the old tower, as the front panel and rear panel required different screws. That was kind of annoying. I have to reinstall the front bezel, realign and gently snap it back into place. Let's install the side panel. Remove the protective plastic sheet. Yeah, I must say, it looks pretty good for my first build. Let's do some stress tests. Yeah, I'm not liking the difference here in the core socket versus core temperatures. I think I might have an issue with the CPU cooler installation. Things got even worse when I ran the CPU stressing program Cinebench. At 100% CPU utilization, the temperature reached 100 degrees Celsius, which is the boiling point of water. Most CPUs are good to about 105, so this is bad news. I did a bit more research, updated the BIOS, and customized the fan speed curves to run them faster at lower CPU temperatures, and I even reinstalled the cooler in case I messed up the paste application. As you can see, the paste coverage looks pretty good. All this yielded no improvement, so I concluded that the L9x65 was undersized for this CPU. Next step, I ordered its big brother, the NH-U12A. The U12A is a beast. It has a much larger heatsink and dual fans to more effectively pull the heat from the power-hungry Intel CPU. The installation steps for the U12A are similar to the L9x65. I first had to carefully remove the original paste from the CPU with some alcohol and a paper towel. This is the IMB2 V2. This is the IMB3 V3. So I have to switch out the plates for the V3s. By 5 pounds. I guess. There's the arrow. Airflow is that way. So I want it to blow right to left towards the exhaust. So this is going to be our intake fan. This might not be easy with the graphics card in place here. There we go. Same thing, arrows going this way. So we have a push-pull setup. This guy is going to push in. This guy is going to pull out towards the exhaust. Kevin. Okay, make sure those are secure. I don't want these popping off and landing on the motherboard. That would be a very bad thing. Okay, airflow is confirmed. We have our Y adapter, so both fans can run off a single CPU output, CPU fan control. That cooler is a beast. So I've been running Cinebench for 9.5 minutes. All 12 cores, 20 threads. We are cranking. 100% CPU utilization, and we are now topping out at about 83C. That is a heck of a lot better. It's about a 15+ degree difference. I figure anything below 90 should be fine. And the fact that this has been running for 10 minutes, I'm okay with that. Okay, so I'm just rendering a sample of the video I've been shooting for this. We're cranking away on that. And you can see here, we're not even running the CPU at full speed. We're at 70C, 12% CPU utilization. I think these are acceptable numbers. All right, that wraps up another video. Thanks for coming along with me on this adventure of building a desktop computer from scratch. Hopefully you learned some stuff as well as I did, especially around the sizing of a CPU cooler for depending on how aggressive you're going to use the machine. Even Magi approves. So anyway, as always, please hit that notification bell, like, and subscribe so that we all know when I'm posting new videos. This also helps support my channel so I can do more stuff like this and show it to you guys. And until the next video comes out, see you later.